Hey there, Supalama here. Today we're going to finish building our challenge lock for the ASA Corbin Russwin. We're going to finish chambers 1, 5, and 6, and we're going to populate them all with these newer updated wafer pins using a steel centerpiece, which is from a penny nail. You will see me attempt a couple of different methods of making these rings. I figured I'd try something while recording. Probably shouldn't do that ever again. It didn't work out too well. I got maybe a couple of rings out of it. But then the second method I show you is the way that I normally make my rings, by just making them one at a time. And you'll understand what I'm talking about when you get into it. Nonetheless, everything is all together. This won't be the last episode. I do have body modifications, but that probably won't be fully out until later. I've got some heavy modifications I plan on doing to this body. So, thanks for watching. Okay, so you guys watched me make the gold rings for the wafer pins. The process has changed a little bit, as you've seen. Rather than using files in my Dremel, I've changed up to my lathe, obviously, and the pipe cutter to cut out the sections. I've also changed the centerpiece to the penny nail as well. It's just faster than wasting a bunch of brass, as well as this is much stronger than brass, especially at this thickness. And it also comes at a generally reliable thickness, so it makes things pretty easy to work with. But I'm going to be filling chambers 1, 5, 5 and 6, I think it is. Yeah. So all I do is I just take a nail and I'll say we'll work on pin 1, and I'll just take the nail head and make sure it fits inside chamber 1. And if it doesn't, which this one doesn't, I will grab my file and I'll look at the nail, and in this case it is not perfectly circle, it's more oval or egg shaped. There, you can see it better now. So all I'll do is I'll get that in frame. I'll just round it out. It's gonna be hard to keep this in the camera while I do this, but I'll just round it out a little bit so that way it looks a little bit better. And I'll just get all the top sharper spots until it's more of a rounded shape, and then it should fit just fine. All we're going for is for it to fit, because this top half is where the spring hits, so that's all it does. And that fits pretty good now. The reason I'm just testing the core is because the core and the lock body is going to be the exact same in diameter, so as long as it fits here, it'll fit up top as well. So now that I've got that done, all I do is I grab a couple of rings that I've made. I made a few extras off camera, just because it's a little tedious to record and it gets boring after you see a couple of them. Usually I like to do 3 rings just because it gives the most trouble while still being pretty compact. As you can see, they're pretty loose on there. I get some angle to them, so they sit on there pretty happy. And all I do is I populate the chamber I'm going to be working on, so in this case 1. And I'll take the nail with the rings on it. Into the chamber it goes, and if it fits just like that, then I know I'm good. So all I'll do is leave the rings on there, grab my side cutters here, and I'll cut probably about there. Gives a little bit of room to play, but it keeps the overall length of the pin very short. So and my tweezers right here. There, just like that. So all I'll do now is I'll hammer the top to flatten it out and mushroom it to keep the rings from falling off, and that will be 1 pin done. I won't show you the hammering because it's changed slightly. I no longer use this punch. I just hammer the end, mostly because the steel is a little bit stronger, so I don't need to dampen the hits a little. And you've already seen me do it once, and it is quite tedious, and I've been looking for an anvil to change things up, but for now I'm just use the pivot point on my cutters, just because I believe it's hardened steel, so it takes the force pretty good. So give me a couple minutes and I'll get back to you guys with the finished product. Okay, I'm back, and there it is. The pin is complete, and that's how it sits in the chamber, just naturally. So I probably could have got away with another wafer, but at the same time, it's at the shear line, so I don't think it's going to get any better than that. And I'll just pull it out here. Pops right out. And there's the tapered end, or mushroomed end, I guess. Pins inside. So, all I have to do now is make 2 more. I'll get back to you guys when those are complete. Alright, so this is our lineup. We've got our 3 wafer pins created here. If they would stand up. Now the one on 6 only has 2 wafers because that pin stands tall enough where it only can fit 2 effectively. So there they are, all 3 of them. And, well, I guess I better populate up the core here for you guys. This lock will probably be a pain to properly pin up. Just from all the pieces. I usually don't have this many loose pieces in my locks. Yeah, it's going to be a pain putting this thing together finally. Flip over. These are probably some of the best knurls I've ever done as well. That wafer does fall below the shear, but it's a little finicky because it doesn't want to sit properly. There we go. Okay, well, there is the lock. All pinned up, ready to cause some mayhem. But we're not done yet. We still have body modifications to do. I'm not going to leave this core standard. So, stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.